Sorry about that, guys. I'm just trying to get around the algorithm craziness somehow and just seeing if this will work. So, this is part 2. 1,000 births. 1999, it was 20. 2011, it dropped to 13, which I think is a lot lower now. But I just want to show you this. Currency. The devaluation, I don't really understand any of that. Murder rate per 100,000 went, I can't, where did the rest of the chart go? Let me see. Oh, here we go. So, murder rate seemed to increase per 100,000, but I don't. I'd have to look more into that. I know it has a lot to do with, actually I know why. It's because of what I just talked about them allowing so many Colombians to come over. And I'm not saying the Colombians that went to Venezuela are bad people, but what happened and why that bridge that they said was being shut down and not letting aid come across, the reason that bridge was never open was because of all of the drugs and gangs and everything that were coming across. So it's like, when you're a little too nice, those things end up happening to you. And so that's why their murder rate increased. Extreme poverty. Y'all, this is crazy. It went from 23.4% to 8.5% in less than 10 years. Oil exports went from 14.4 billion to 60 billion. 60 billion. Y'all, these numbers are staggering. They're absolutely staggering. And the sources are right here. You can get them from, using data gathered from sources such as World Bank, United Nations High Commerce for Refugees, the International Monetary Fund, the energy, all of these things. You can just take a little screenshot or whatever. But, so the population also, their birth rate was one of the reasons, but a big reason was because they let so many Colombians come in. Okay? So, oh my gosh. Here in the United States, during the winter time, so they could heat their homes. Yeah. That was still going on up until about a year. That's how good of people they are. They couldn't just stop doing it. So this evil, terrible, horrible country with these terrible dictators are giving free oil to heat the homes of the United States community. And yet, just last week, we had super fake Christian, I'm sure most of y'all think he's a real Christian, televangelist Pat Robertson call for a drone assassination on the president of Venezuela. What in the world? I'm going to play that right now because I'm sure most of you don't believe it. So I shared it on Twitter. If you don't follow me, this is my Twitter handle, Jen Vets for Truth. Alright, so this is what lies and desperation has come to. Christian leaders, quotes, calling for the assassination of the duly elected president of the only sovereign Christian nation still standing without a bank. Makes you think who Pat really is working for.
For action. It's time for action, and the OAS States, the Organization of American States, needs to come together, and it may be it's got to have the Americans to lead it. But I could see, we have very effective drones. We have what are called Hellfire missiles that can be fired from drones, and I believe it's time to give Mr. Maduro a little taste of what he's been doing to the opposition. But right now, the duly elected president has lost his exemption, and there's a very real possibility that they will either kidnap him or execute him while all this talk is going on, and then Maduro will have a free hand. Something has got to be done. This is a cancer in our southern border that should not be allowed to continue, and it's time, frankly, for force. When you've got a thug holding people captive, sooner or later the police have got to come in and take that man out.
Wow. Wow. So he's considering what's his name? Random guy named Juan as the duly elected president. He's never even stood for an election. What's funny is, what kind of dictator allows, let me see if I can find it, allows random guy named Juan to just roam around his country, he holds all these rallies and whatnot. Think about if that was going on here. If there was anybody, no matter what side they were on, trying to overthrow our duly elected president, I mean, I use that term loosely. If we had that, do you think that they would allow him to be running around D.C. and, calling for the overthrow of him? Absolutely not. It's absolutely insane. He's still walking around free. So what he's talking about, I can't find it. But you can scroll through here. I know it's on here. This sycophant reports tonight out that Venezuela is like a horror movie. He's just out of control. Out of freaking control. Oh my gosh. Let me see. Oh, I think Abby tweeted it. If y'all didn't see this, this has got to be the worst humanitarian crisis in history. Let's check out what they were doing during. This is what was going on just a couple weeks ago in Venezuela. This was during Carnival. This is a humanitarian crisis. Have they seen Yemen? Have they seen Syria? This is a humanitarian crisis.